Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Nicassio is about to come on and rock your world. Get excited for that because he's a powerhouse. Multiple time reigning champion, returning guest on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Before we bring him on, though, let's talk about sponsor message. Are you a influencer, an entrepreneur, someone who's committed to making a massive impact in the world, yet you feel like not enough people know who you are? There's people who are suffering because they don't know who you are, and they don't know about the magic, the gifts that you have to offer, the difference that you can really make for them. Well, that's why I am here. They call me the magician, the impact magician, the purpose magician. We'll figure it out. I'll talk to Joe about it. We can dive into that because he is a master at really problem solving in business. Specifically, though, I love helping people get their message out on the 12-hour marathon. So if you feel you could be a good fit as a guest, let's talk. Second is if you are committed to getting your own message out with your own platform, your own podcast. I love helping people launch their podcasts, helping Joe launch his, and our other clients as well are just blasting off with theirs. So I love doing that. And then finally, if there's a guest who you want to connect with, maybe you haven't yet sent a message to them, talk to me. Let me know you want to connect with someone. I will definitely make an introduction if I feel it's a great fit, and I think you should definitely get connected with them, okay? Next up is the iTunes review of the week. This week it's by Jay McVean. Jay McVean says, Chris is a force of nature. I met Chris in person and knew he was a very special person. With a very clean and vibrant energy, and a heart that fills the room, he's a joy to know and even more of a joy to learn from. I'm super grateful that he does what he does. Thank you so much, Jay McVean. I appreciate you. And if you want to give us a review, go to beergps.com/iTunes. Make sure you subscribe, get the latest updates, and we release an episode just about every day on becoming your greatest possible self, so you get a huge serving and dose of greatness, and you'll be able to stay plugged in, tapped into the inspiration, to the resources, to the ideas that can really make a difference for you. So definitely do that. And thank you in advance for the feedback on what we're doing well, what we can improve on. Thank you. I'm going to introduce Joe in just a second here. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, because this guy just absolutely pours wisdom. He is a conduit, a divine conduit of wisdom, empowerment, and becoming your greatest possible self in business. So make sure you have something to take notes on, because you will definitely want to. And stay all the way through till the end, because you never know what one idea can transform the rest of your life. Our next guest, Mr. Joe Nicassio, is incredibly unique. And there are many products that tell you how to start your business. But Joe Nicassio doesn't just tell you how, he mentors you step by step through the process and guarantees you will get results at the cash register. And how do I know personally? Well, I worked with Joe. He made a huge difference for me in getting started on my entrepreneurial journey and getting to where I am today, and being the force of love that I am, sharing my gifts with the world in this 12-hour marathon and coaching. He's been a huge component of that. So I definitely can stand for Joe and say how much of a difference he makes in my life, and I know his other clients' lives as well. So if you need more than a coach, if you're looking for a mentor that can connect the dots for you and hold your hand along the way to success, then you'll definitely want Joe as your mentor. And we're blessed to have this champion here with us today. Joe, are you ready to rock the house, superstar?
I am ready.
You are ready. I think we need to put a lid on that energy, man. It's just like, it's too much. I don't think my audience can handle it. Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, it's really great to have you here. Appreciate you being here and showing up and just every day taking a step into your GPS, man. So we're going to dive right into the theme. Today's theme is, it's the little things that make the difference, that add up to make a difference. Tell us your perspective on that, Joe.
Well, most people are majoring in minor things. It doesn't take 10,000 things to be successful. There's a few things that make a huge difference. Choosing your business wisely. If you don't take the time to do that, little things mean a lot. There's 1,000 different ways you can promote your business, but you don't need to do 1,000. You can find one that works better and more consistent than the other. So, it's just really about finding your numbers in the combination, finding that right combination for you. I believe that little things do make a big difference. And, you know, y- somebody asked Neil Armstrong, how do you get to the moon? It seems like a really sophisticated process. And he says, really, you only have to solve two problems. One is, how do you get there? And two is, how do you get back?
Yep.
You know, and, and you need to solve both problems before you leave.
Yep.
So little things mean a big difference. And if you're pointing your rocket ship to the moon, it's really important that you are really precise.
Mm.
Those the little increment. If you're a half degree off on your journey towards the moon, you're going to end up in outer space, drifting without any more oxygen, and you're going to end up dead.
Mm.
So that's how important little things are.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, man. I love it. I appreciate that. And Joe, for everyone who's just getting connected with you on this round of the marathon, this interview, share a little bit more about who you are, what you stand for, and how you serve your clients.
Um, yeah, I'm Joe Nicassio. I stand for self-reliance through entrepreneurship. I stand for creating a business that you love, something that you're passionate about. It
Hmm.
breaks my heart. I love seeing people do work that they enjoy. I love seeing people start businesses. I love seeing people prosper and do well. But I really hate it. I hate seeing people build somebody else's dream and neglecting their own. It breaks my heart to see people failing in business because they didn't put the right, those little pieces together and make it work.
Mm.
And that's why I created this program called Employee Escape Plan, which is really about helping you create a business that works, something you love doing, something that you can share that love with others and enroll them in doing that with you, and something where you can receive the love in the form of, payment from grateful clients that appreciate you so
Mm.
much. It's like, I appreciate you sharing your love with me, and I give this money, this payment to you as an act of appreciation
Mm.
because you are making my life better for doing that. So, yeah, I mean, um, we can have like somebody a job, just making a living, making money, or we can, have a career by default, or we can have a career by design where we align our passion with our purpose
Right.
and principles, where we make a profit, but we also have that feeling of fulfillment at the end of the day that we're doing meaningful work. And it feels good to do what you love and impact people's lives and having them feel good, and that's what I'm all about. I don't know if
Mm.
I overextended on that, but I hope I answered your question.
We can definitely tell you're passionate, Joe. That's for sure, and I love it, man. So I especially wanted to bring you on today to talk about your journey of going from where you were in the past, and I think it'd be a great refresher on the type of work you were doing in the past, what it was like for you, and the transformation to where we are today, and how you're leading with love. Because I know it wasn't always like that. You weren't always leading with love, focusing on empowering people to be love and share their message as love. So tell us about that transformation, man, and feel free to take us through the details and the lessons that you learned and the wisdom that you really picked up along the way.
Well, when I was a kid, what I loved doing was playing with electronics. And I was always a techie geek. I always built my own electronics. I built my own metal. We used to take Dixie cups and turn them into speakers with a little magnet and a coil. And
Yep.
I mean, we did a lot of fun projects. But I loved playing with electronics, and that's really kind of my first career was in building and playing with and repairing electronics, and being discovering the latest technology and analog and digital. And I sold computers, and I made a lot of money there in the computer world. I did get to a place where I brought in 250,000 a year for 4 years in a row, and that's a
Mm.
million dollars. It's like,
Yeah.
that feels pretty good.
Yep.
But the downside of technology is what, you work really hard to develop the latest cutting edge technology, and then a new technology comes along and sets it takes you from thriving back to zero.
Mm.
And I went through those cycles 4 or 5 times, and the last one was really brutal because I lost a lot of money. I mean, it was painful. My net worth plummeted. I went from prospering to my net worth plummeting to minus $250,000.
No.
Um, and it was super painful. Um, and I had to seek therapy. I mean, I had to go get professional help. They put me on antidepressant medications.
What were the
So
what were the
you know, I
little what were the
I
little
made
things?
money and I've
Wait,
been
wait,
someplace
wait,
really dark.
wait, Joe. Joe, I have a question. What were the little things that you weren't paying attention to back then?
Well, there were several. I would say that there were little signals that I should have probably given more attention to. There's the things I didn't give attention to, and then there's the things that I gave too much attention to. For example, I was pumping money into marketing campaigns that were working, and then they stopped working. And you need to keep your finger on the pulse, and not only know what the numbers are, but what do the numbers mean, and
Yep.
what do they originate from? So um, there were signs that I wasn't tuned into, that I wasn't picking up on. There was a lot of things. Who I was doing business with, wasn't always credible. I made some decisions to pump money into something that I thought was growing, and it was actually silently dying.
Mm.
Um, the bottom line is, after you go through 4 or 5 of these technology cycles, we call them flood drought cycles. You're making a ton of money and then it dries up. Then you
Yep.
go do something else. You're making a ton of money and it dries up. After a while, after this last one, it was just like, what's wrong with me? And
Mm.
I went into a whole depressive phase. But during that time, also what happened is I really started to study marketing. I realized that I sucked at marketing. Like I thought that just providing a great product was good enough, and it's not.
Mm. Right.
So I ended up going to a J. Abraham seminar
Mm.
where it was $5,000 per person. I put $500 on a credit card, and I went to this $5,000 per person event, and it was awakening. It was like a whole new um, window of understanding. And Jay just isn't about marketing; he's about so many other things, but um, like this holistic view of business and structure and all that. So um, out of my disaster and my crash and burn and depression, what happened is I found a whole new vein of knowledge and wisdom to tap into, where transformation was possible.
Mm.
And um, having the coolest tech might be great, but marketing is a whole other thing. And I think the big shift for me, talk about little things that make a huge difference, is understanding that business isn't just about making money, and it's not just about having the coolest technology. The true purpose of a business, this is the one for people to write down, okay?
Mhm.
The purpose of a business is to create a customer. And if you don't get that, you will forever struggle. If you start to understand, because people think, well, no, Joe, it's to make money, but if you don't have customers, you don't have money and you don't have a business.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. And so the big shift, if you could focus on one thing, is recognizing that the way to make money is to make somebody's life better. This is groundbreaking stuff.
Mhm.
If you're in it for the money, you will not make money. If you're in it because you just want to play with cool gadgets, you will not make money. If you want to do it just for the sake of teaching and sharing your stuff because it feels good for me to teach and share my stuff, you will not make money. But when you start to realize that it's to make somebody's life better,
Mhm.
to like really, people show up and they have a problem and they walk away and they're much better off because they came into your world. That's where the money comes from.
Yeah. Hmm.
And for me, I'm profiting from this two ways because I'm doing this business that I love doing. But what the other level of satisfaction is, I get to help other people help find what they love doing. I am this person that when I drip my wisdom onto a client with the purpose of growing them and having them have breakthrough and understand blossoming.
Mhm.
So I have fun doing what I'm doing, and I have what if I've really done my job well with a client, it's to help them find out what lights them up, what gives them passion, what gets them blossoming, what gets them waking up every day so excited to do their work. So I get to live in that, but I get to also bring that out in others, and that's super fulfilling for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And I know a big part of your evolution in how you serve people today is really the language of love and giving love, sharing love, receiving love. Tell us, how did that evolution come about?
Well, that's a good question. Um, first of all, we hear people saying, I got to go to work. And how many people, when they say, I got to go to work, say it with some kind of like joyful smile on their face? So for the longest time, it's like, I didn't even like that languaging. Like,
Yeah.
let's go have fun making money. Let's go like have fun serving somebody and making a difference. And so, I mean, the language wasn't always the language of love, but I never liked this idea like work has to be painful.
Mm.
Like whistle while you work. Was it the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Whistle while you work. Why not have fun with it? And I think there's just too much cultural pain associated with this idea of working,
Mm.
and we can still have a great impact. People, you know, we can have a great impact on people and still do it in a way that it's joyful for us.
Yeah.
And but here's what I learned is nobody's going around saying, let's create a dream business for Joe or let's create a dream business for Chris. Nobody's going around doing that.
Right.
Nobody's saying, let's find a way for Chris Burns to have the most joy and passion in the work that he does.
Hmm.
Like, so for Chris Burns to have that, he needs to be intentional.
Yep.
We can intentionally say, you know what, if I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to work every day, if I'm going to do something every day, why not do something that fills my heart? It fills the hearts of the people around me. It makes me a more joyful person to be around, you know, um, and we can make a difference and still like smile through the entire process.
Right.
And, we can pay and be paid with a smile on our face. One of the things I've learned is there's two kind of buyers. There's the reluctant buyer and the grateful buyer.
Mm.
The reluctant buyer is like, oh, I don't want to pay for that, blah, blah, blah. And then the grateful buyer is like, thank you so much for like helping me out. Here's my money. Thank you for taking me on.
Yep.
Thank you for mentoring me. And like, I'm so grateful. Here's my money. And it's like for a lot of people, it fries their brains that it's even possible
Well, I
to
love
have.
I love this. I love this because I personally had to grow through feeling like unworthy to deserve amazing A+++ triple A customers and clients, right? Like I in the beginning of coaching, I was like willing to serve just about everyone, and that was a strength. I had a lot of energy, I had a lot of confidence. I'm like, I can take on any problem, like a la Tony Robbins, bring anything to me, I'm gonna handle it, right? And then over time, like I just recognized that wasn't congruent, and I felt inauthentic. I felt out of integrity. I felt like I wasn't being my greatest possible self. I was still serving people and helping them get results, but internally I knew that there was something more. And so it took a couple years of really like looking at who am I and what do I stand for. And I even picked up a client. It was like last year, as recent as last year, and just like I knew I was making a difference, I was helping, but it wasn't transforming her life because of her willingness to kind of submit to the process and do what it takes. And she wasn't willing to get uncomfortable like the all-star clients were. Like when you worked with me, like I would make calls, I would go to the events, I would network, I would like put myself out there and constantly be challenging myself and being as bold as I possibly can be and completing the assignments on time.
Yeah, I would give you assignments and you would actually do them without fighting me. You would
Right.
like, okay, I'll do this.
Right. So it's like simple stuff. And like last year, like I was saying, I was working with this woman, worked with her for over a year, and like just actually it was yesterday. I gave her a call and I said, "Listen, like I've loved working with you. You're an amazing human being, but we're just not on the same path of intensity and contributing to each other. So this isn't like coaching's not going to work. I'm here for you. I love you. Let me know if there's anything that I can do to support you. But as far as a coaching capacity, I'm going to have to let you go because I don't want to." Have my boundaries like demonstrating to the universe and God that, oh, I'll take anyone. No, I only work with world changers. And I attracted this woman from Australia, Jessica Vieira, a couple of weeks ago, and she signed up for podcast coaching. And she is freaking hungry. She is like completing the assignments, like knocking them out left and right. And she's so grateful. And she also knows that I'm bringing my A game and she's bringing her A game. And because she invested, she's accountable and she's willing to do whatever it takes. I didn't get that energy of intensity. It was more like from the past client. It was more like, well, I know you're so busy, so thanks for taking me on and like making this work for your schedule. And like it was almost like she didn't see her greatness, and no matter what I could do to kind of uplift her and empower her, she never owned her greatness. And so I think there's certain people who are willing to run, there's certain people who are willing to walk, there's certain people who just want to crawl, and we got to know who we are and aren't willing to invest our time into.
Yeah, I see people as kind of there's two kinds of people. They either fill us up or
Yeah.
they drain us.
Yeah.
And yeah, like not only who am I helping, but like how is it affecting me?
Yep.
Because if this is taking me to a better place, because I love helping people and take them to a better place. Uh, and if I'm helping somebody and taking them to a better place and I feel like I'm in a better place, that's
Yeah.
good. But if I'm helping somebody and taking them to a better place, but I feel like just filthy and grimy at the end of the process, like, if it's negatively impacting me, if it's draining me, if I'm losing sleep, if I'm having nightmares around, like my clients' problems, and got to be very careful that we help people with their problems without polluting our own psyche.
Mm.
And most of the time we can do that, but there's certain people, it's like, you know what, this is not working. I am not most of the time I have fun making money, I'm making a difference. Here I am, I'm making funny, I'm having, I'm making money,
Hmm.
and I'm making somebody's life better, but man, it's taking a toll on me.
Yeah.
And so you have to like kind of preserve yourself, and not let yourself get taken into a place that's less than your own greatness as well.
Mm. Dude. This is great, man. This is great. And I think when you are so fired up to be contributing to a person, that's love, I think for me, my personal journey with the word love was really difficult. Like I was very uncomfortable telling my parents that I loved them. I was very uncomfortable with God and receiving God's love, and um I really had to grow through my ability to tell people like you, Joe, I love you. That was practically impossible 5-7 years ago. It was like I could, those words wouldn't come out of my mouth. But it was almost like I was afraid of it. I was afraid of being vulnerable. I was afraid of being exposed, so to speak, and sharing how I really feel, because I felt like when I did that, I got shut down or something like that would happen. And so with clients, like I was afraid
A
of,
vulnerability's got like two sides to the coin.
yeah,
It's like being vulnerable. There's this part where, like you're just opening up and being completely authentic and exposed. But one of the things I've learned is like if you're completely open and exposed, there are people that are vultures that will
oh
like
yeah, oh yeah,
pick at your flesh. So,
yeah,
you know, uh, I, I think the word I like more than vulnerability is just straight up authenticity.
mm,
Just being able to speak your truth allow other people to speak their truth and live within that. Um, yeah, there's a slight difference between vulnerability and authenticity. They're both important.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, well, I think me knowing you, Joe, like you are on your own personal journey of becoming more vulnerable with people, especially in your love life. You've had some challenges in your past, and women that didn't treat you right. They didn't treat your heart right. They didn't admire and respect you, and like give you the love that you deserve. And I think that has left an impact on you. And I think you're doing an amazing job at like showing up with love in spite of that pain that you felt in the past.
yeah, I'm a good man trying to lead a straight life in a crooked world. And you can give love to some people and they will treat it with love, but there's also people that you treat them with love and they will, you know, um, yeah. I mean, there is a dark side out there. It's
Well, I,
real.
I think I think it's like the all or never statements, always or never. It's like uh, what is like a universal statement basically that very very rarely is always or never factually true. And so to say that you're
Yeah,
being a
you should
straight
always remember to. You should
right.
always
So
remember to
just
never use the words
listen,
always and
listen, listen.
never.
If you are showing up as living a good, honest life in a crooked world, I get it's kind of like a joke and it's kind of funny, and it's at some level in your mind, in your subconscious still, if it came out in this conversation. And so for me, I was reading a book called. You should totally get this book. Write it down if you have something to write on. Earth is hiring. Earth is hiring. You would love it. You would love it. It's just like total insight into millennials, into like this new way of thinking, and it's totally in alignment with who you are. Earth is hiring. Peter Kelly. Great, great book. I've only read like 100 pages out of 300 so far. It's amazing, amazing book. But she talks about like really getting into alignment with the message, alignment with yourself. And when you are sharing your purpose and sharing what you are creating in the world, it's important that you like resonate with that. You feel that truth coming through you. And I know that you feel that truth coming through you. And that's important to communicate that to people so they feel the authenticity. They feel the vulnerability when you're being real and you're not trying to like hide anything or be someone else. And I think it's definitely a dance of how do I show up and empower people like you do and massively transform their lives and their businesses and give them clarity and empower the heck out of them. And on the same token, share where you're at, not in a disempowering way, but in, hey, I'm working on this still, and I know like I'm gonna have my breakthrough in it. I'm
Right.
creating my breakthrough. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're all working on our stuff, aren't we?
Yep. Yeah, man. So yeah, Earth is hiring. It's a great book. There's something else I wanted to say about that too. Anyways, your focus on love, I think it's really profound and it's powerful, and I really think the transformation of where you were to where you are now, I think like people need to know who is Joe, who is Joe Nicassio, who is the hero Joe. I think like the work that you're getting out in the world is awesome, and I think that there's a it needs to be a better story. I feel like the story, the brand Joe Nicassio, because people do business with Joe. Like employee escape plan is great, but they do
Yeah,
business with you.
a lot of people they want to be rich and famous, and I'm like, I want to be rich and private. It's
Yeah.
like um, it's like I'm not the kind of person that like gets up on the soapbox and talks about how great I am. I've been driving around the country. I just drove from LA to Portland. I'm on my way back to Southern California right now. And um, I travel and I get the chance. I'm like this money monk. I get the chance to, as I travel, I get to drip some wisdom about like business and just in my conversations with people. I very frequently I just give people little nuggets that you can just when I talk to people and I listen and then I give them something that can like give them a little transformation or breakthrough, and I get to
Right.
watch them blossom, and then I continue to travel and I meet somebody else and I drip a little of that love on someone else. And then some people go, you know what, you're pretty awesome. I want to work with you. But I'm
Mhm.
not like I'm not like uh, I don't have a lot of exposure now. That's one of the reasons I'm doing the podcast. But I don't really like to brag on myself. I like to get my clients to do that for me through testimonial videos, that kind of stuff. Um, and yet, so there's a whole lot of people that don't know who I am.
Mhm.
If they knew who I was, if they knew that I took a stand for them to blossom as an entrepreneur, if they understood that I actually have an encyclopedic knowledge of marketing, if they understood that I am like somebody that can have conversations, and a 10-minute conversation with me could get them completely unblocked and unstuck in their money flow and their
Mhm.
whole entrepreneurial thought process. If people only understood how much I care, like so many more people would be doing business with me because I care more than anyone. I am so trained. The people that I know that learn the stuff that I know,
Mhm.
they did it for their own wealth. So
Right.
me, can make more money. And I learned the same information as those guys, and I realized, oh my goodness, nobody has this information. And so
Mm.
I want to help so many people. I see people making mistakes,
Mm.
and it's not my job to say you're making a mistake and you're making a mistake, because in a way, people will feel very invalidated by doing that.
Right. Well,
It's not my job to invalidate.
it's your responsibility to seek out the people who are raising their hand saying, "I want help," and you say, "Great. Where do you want to get to?" Okay, check, check, check. You're my
Exactly.
so far you're my perfect client. I love it. Love the vision. I can and I see that there's some room for growth. Where would you say you're getting stuck and blocked? Okay, cool. I can handle those. I eat problems like those for breakfast. Here's my solution. Awesome. Are you in or you out? Boom.
Right, right. Um, yeah, I wish more people would raise their hands, but your ego is not your amigo.
Mm,
And there's a whole lot of people that y- you know the only time to really coach somebody is when they are in that coachable space.
yeah.
The only time to teach somebody is when they're in that state where they're like, yes, I want to learn.
Yeah.
Um, um, and I'm getting picky now who I take as a client. I'm like, it's like, if you're, I'm going to ask before people hire me, I ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to like really making your business work?
Mm,
And if somebody says I'm a 9 out of 10 committed, I was like, nope, you're not my client. I
mm,
only work with people that are 10 out of 10 committed. So
yeah.
you're a 9 right now. What's missing? What do you need to be 10 out of 10 committed, to be all in? Because um, see, that's the thing. You say, who is Joe Nicassio? Joe is a guy that when you hire him as a business coach, that you're actually going to see an increase in your business at the cash register. And I give my word, I guarantee they're going to make your money back multiplied double.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in order for me to make that promise to you, you need to make a promise to me that you're 10 out of 10 committed to getting this done.
Yep.
Because if you're 9 out of 10 committed, you're not. I'm more committed than you. That's
Yeah.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you grow, and you're not even all in.
Mm,
Why should I take you on as a client? Get away from me. Go.
mm.
I don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
want to work with people that are all in.
one of the other things that I think is really important, I wanted to mention about the book Earth is Hiring, is there's a question that's super super powerful. It's called it's like, how does it get better than this? How does it get any better than this? And to ask that question of expecting things to get better rather than to expect the sabotage. I think a lot of people expect the sabotage. A lot of people expect the breakdown, the ruin. I think it's naive to not to say that's not even a possibility, but to expect it and to feed energy towards it, then that's like it's totally disempowering, because we can just keep saying like I can keep growing this greatness. Just because I'm experiencing greatness and happiness and joy and fulfillment and prosperity doesn't mean it has to end at some point, right? Like I can say, how does it
There's
keep
another
getting better?
level.
Yeah, how does it keep getting better than this? And even better than that is like like saying to God, saying to the universe, show me. Show me how it gets better than this. Show me how things get even better than this, with an expectation like Christmas is freaking tomorrow. I know you're going to show me, universe. I know you're going to show
Yeah,
me, God.
help me clear out the obstacles. Help me clear out the obstacles in all of my 7 chakras. Help me
Yep.
clear out the obstacles in my energetic way of showing up. Clear
Yep.
out the obstacles in my self-talk.
Yeah,
And everything
and
gets
like
clear out, everything
how
flows.
how does my energy become even more aligned? How do my chakras become even more vibrant and alive and open and connected so that I show up as my greatest possible self? Show me.
Yeah, and then, even when we achieve like this highest level of energy, then like who are we interacting with and sharing? Are we, I think we, as in our quest of evolution, we want to surround ourselves by people that are also very highly evolved.
Yep.
Um, you know, uh, you know, uh, it's yeah, it's that whole thing. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Mhm.
And so when we get ourselves to a high level, we need to surround ourselves by people that are higher level than us that can help us, transcend to the next level. The word sensei in martial arts means somebody who's walked this path before.
Hmm.
So, no matter how high a level black belt you're dealing with, once upon a time they started as a white
Yeah. Yeah.
belt. And so, um, even if you're black belt, there's second, third, fourth, there's another level for you to attain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just using a martial arts metaphor, but it really applies to everything. And in business, specifically in business, um, there's a lot of people, I talk about, I am a marketing expert. Okay. There are people that have more money than me, but, but money doesn't make expertise.
Mm.
The expert is the person that has the most distinctions.
Yeah.
Okay. Expertise is driven by who has more understanding, more distinctions, more ways of, defining, yeah, and grant you looking at a problem with more granularity and
I think that's a partial truth, because you could have all the information and distinctions in the world, but if you can't execute on them, if you get in your own way, if people like sabotage themselves to be able to get that out, if someone's a better marketer and they educate more people on those distinctions, maybe it's a little bit more fundamental, rudimentary, but if it makes a bigger difference, who's the bigger expert?
yeah, no, I mean, look, in business the scorecard is cash,
Yep.
you know um and some people can get there, they can make a lot of cash. If you find that right combination of things, you can make a lot of cash and still not necessarily have the expertise, but you found a combination that works, and
Yeah.
that is valid. It's
Hmm.
valid in terms of you did really well in business. Does that mean that you can go and help 20 other people launch businesses? Maybe not.
Hmm.
It just means you found a combination that works for you. My I have a coach talking more, and he says, we need to be very careful to do something that is in alignment with our personality, because if I see somebody else making money and I do it, but it doesn't fit my personality, it's kind of like wearing someone else's underwear.
Yep.
It might be a little kinky at first, but after a while, it just gets weird.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there are people teaching how to make money, um, but it works for the teacher, but maybe it's not the most important thing is whatever business you start, let it be in alignment with your personality, with your passions,
Yeah.
with your principles, because when you wake up in alignment and you're doing your thing and it's really in alignment with who you are and what you're about, first of all, you'll be happy regardless of the money level. And secondly, because you're so happy and you're so good at it, you're so passionate about it, you're going to get great results for people, and the profits will be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and it comes back to that self-awareness, knowing who you are and knowing your purpose and spending the time, investing the time to
Purpose
know.
is huge.
Yeah.
Purpose is huge. And, there is no leader without a tribe. There's this book called Tribes by Seth Godin.
Yep.
There is no leader without a tribe. There is no tribe without a leader. The highest paid person is the tribal leader. But here's the catch: people don't follow the leader, they follow a cause.
Hmm.
They follow a cause. And if you have a good cause, if you're purposeful with your cause, it's like, Chris, I know you have a cause. Like, you know that there are people out there with all kinds of magic, but they're also very unknown.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that are probably watching or listening to this podcast right now that have tremendous magic, and yet they are unknown. And I know that one of your causes, Chris, is to help empower people to launch their podcast so that they can be known, so that they can have their impact, so that they can um, promote their purpose and their cause. And when they do that through their podcast, when your podcast becomes about your cause and your purpose, you are now starting to establish yourself as a tribal leader, a
Yeah.
tribal leader around that cause.
Yep.
And as you um, establish your leadership around that cause, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
And so I know that you take a stand for helping empower people to get that purpose, that cause out there, to
Yes.
share it through podcasts. And I think it's really powerful, the work that you're doing now to empower people to get that podcast started and launched, because the moment you do that, your audience starts to grow.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's just giving people the tools and the resources and how to actually do that, how to get their message out there. A lot of people are just praying and hoping for results, doing what they think is like a piecemeal solution, trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together and not getting the whole blueprint custom tailored for them.
It's more than the message, it's the cause.
Mm,
It's like, when somebody has a podcast, they have a forum that positions them potentially as a thought leader around
yep.
the cause.
Yep.
And podcasting is a great way to advance your positioning, to advance your leadership in the world, because it opens up a whole world of other people that you wouldn't have access to otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, man. So, taking employee escape plan to the next level, you're also doing your podcast. What are you most excited about in the coming months in serving people and what's possible for you?
Well, I'm really excited that the podcast actually fixes a branding problem of employee escape plan. The branding problem I have with employee escape plan, it's a great branding for that person that has the soul sucking job and they want to create a business and escape. But the moment somebody hears employee escape plan, if they're already an entrepreneur, they automatically like delete themselves as possible with working with me. So
Right.
the podcast, I'm really excited, is it's the Build a Better Business podcast.
Mm,
So if you are a startup entrepreneur, the Build a Better Business podcast is great for you. And if
mm,
you're already in business, Build a Better Business, it fits for both crowds. And the work I do fits with both crowds, but the branding of Employee Escape Plan has some challenges. So I'm excited that the Build a Better Business podcast, I think, will open up the door for more people to pay attention to the kind of business building advice that I give. And I
yeah.
think it's going to open up a lot more people to paying attention to, like, oh my goodness, Joe actually like knows what he's talking about. Like, you know, that's really powerful for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I have a client in Greenock, Scotland,
Hmm.
and it's funny because I was doing a Facebook Live one day. This didn't come from podcasting, but this could have come from podcasting. Okay,
Hmm.
um, and he's like, Joe, it's like I want to hire you, and it's like I've never even talked to you before, and it's like I've been watching your free videos that you have on YouTube,
Hmm.
and we've been applying them in our business, and we've already made money with the stuff that you've given us away for free.
Wow.
We're already convinced we want to hire you.
Wow.
Now that's powerful. Here's a guy that's approaching me that I've never talked to in my life, but he's been using my free materials and profiting from it, saying, I want more. I want to hire you.
That's
I'm
huge.
seeing that the podcast is a channel that a lot of that kind of stuff, more of that can happen for me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's freaking gold, dude. I love it. And I think that's people's biggest challenge usually is they have all this genius and gifts, but they don't know how to get it out to the world. They don't know how to have people know about their gifts, about their miracles that they can perform in their lives.
I want to flip this around for a moment and just ask you a question.
Sure.
So, once upon a time, you weren't an entrepreneur. I
Hmm.
mean, you were taking some classes and stuff, but you had a job working for the man in technology. What was it like before? And do you feel like that you've found that business where you're doing what you love, you're sharing the love, and you're receiving the love? Give me just a little, share your story a little bit around this whole doing what you love thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I was going through school, getting my electrical engineering degree. I got that, and after I got out, I knew I wasn't meant to do the 9 to 5 thing. I knew that wasn't my life path. But I had been sold the dream so hard from my parents and society that I felt like this soul discord in me, and I got that anxiety and tension out through like partying, and I ended up hitting rock bottom. And because of that rock bottom moment, I made a decision I would never wind up in that place again, and I dedicated my life to becoming my greatest possible self. Now, I went to Toastmasters. That was awesome. Helped with speaking leadership. I started being a lot more curious about business, started messing around on Fiverr, trying to be an entrepreneur. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I was figuring it out step by step, trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And after going to seminars and investing thousands of dollars into my personal development education, I met you, Joe, and you taught me how to get my cash register ring doing what I was excited to do, using technology, creating info products, educating people, teaching them mindset, teaching them the basics of becoming their greatest possible self in that aspect. And after I got that excitement, I really felt like I was on purpose, and it took some time for me to really sink into who I am, what my message is. I created the 12-hour marathon, started doing tons of interviews, and really seeing what is available in the world. Who are people? What do they stand for? What resonates with me? What's true for me that I'm hearing resonate over and over and over again? And from that, I recognize, man, the reason why I created this 12-hour marathon is because I like being in the spotlight. I like putting other people in the spotlight. And I like serving the world by having them get their message out, because I know what it's like to be unseen, unheard, and unloved. And I don't want anyone, especially a world changer, a cause, purpose driven entrepreneur and leader, to have to suffer through that. So I want to empower them to get their message out, and podcasting is the thing that I've had a massively successful track record with. So let's give that to the people. Let's give the gold that I've built up. Maybe things will evolve in the future. It might evolve from podcasting into even more variety. Podcasting might be my sweet spot forever. And for right now, it really is like me. I own the 12-hour marathon. I own Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. I own the podcast as my vehicle that's made such a massive difference in my life, and being able to connect with people, being able to grow my business, get my cash register to ring, make thousands and thousands of dollars a month because of this platform. So I'm super, super grateful for the evolution that's happened, and I couldn't have done it without you.
You came to me, and I think the biggest thing I did is I created a container where I said, you know what, you can create a business that you actually love doing.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
share what you do, and come from a place of I love sharing what I do, and coming to a place, and that container, what happens in that container, it evolves, it grows, it changes.
Mm.
But the whole rest of the world is going to school, get an education, get a job, and the world does not create that container that says, you know what, it's okay to um, not just make money, but do something that impacts others and brings joy to your heart and brings joy to their heart,
Right.
and that gives you the freedom to say, So I create the container, and then what happens with it, you started at a certain place, and it's evolved and grown.
Mm-hmm.
But um, I think what I gave you is that I was a catalyst for you to do your own thing,
Yeah.
with that permission that, like, you know what, you can. And so, just to summarize real quick, do you love doing what you do?
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you love sharing it with others?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And do
So
you
I love,
and do you love receiving the love when people pay you?
yep, I do. Yeah, man.
That's what it's all about. I mean, if you're saying, how do you get to know who Joe is? Look at Chris Burns. Look where he's at now. He's
This,
an entrepreneur. He's running his own business. And he's somebody that I've touched his life. And then this is who Joe is. And I've helped really thousands of other people either grow their existing business or start businesses from scratch. And just to answer that question, who is Joe today? That's like uh, that's what I'm all about.
yeah, I love it, man. I love it. This is gold. So how do people stay connected with you, and what do we want them to do next, man?
EmployeeEscapePlan.com is where you can find me, and there's a schedule link on the website, EmployeeEscapePlan.com, and that's the best way to stay in touch with me is to go there.
Cool. Awesome, man. You are a rock star, Joe. Everyone definitely stay connected with him, employeeescapeplan.com, and be looking for the Build a Better Business podcast as well. That is hitting the shelves and the interwebs and making a massive splash as well. And Joe, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Awesome. We'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Take care.